Long before he became one of the most recognizable actors in the world, Leonardo DiCaprio grew up in a very different environment from the glamour people associate with Hollywood. Raised primarily by his mother, Ermeline Indenberken, in East Hollywood during the 1970s and 1980s, his childhood was shaped by modest living and a determined parent who believed deeply in his potential. Money was often tight, and getting to auditions sometimes meant long bus rides across Los Angeles. But those journeys also carried hope. His father, George DiCaprio, an artist involved in underground comics, introduced him to creativity and alternative culture. Between his mother's discipline and his father's artistic spirit, Leonardo grew up surrounded by encouragement, even when circumstances were challenging. Those early experiences planted the seeds of resilience and ambition that would eventually guide him through one of the most unpredictable careers in modern cinema. A childhood fueled by determination. As a child, Leonardo showed an early interest in performing, appearing in small commercials and auditions throughout Los Angeles. The competition was intense, and rejection became a regular part of the process. Still, his mother continued to support him, often reminding him that persistence mattered more than immediate success. For a young actor, the early years were less about fame and more about learning how to stay patient and focused. By his early teens, he began landing small television roles, gradually gaining experience and confidence. Shows like Growing Pains introduced him to wider audiences and helped him understand the rhythms of professional acting. Even then, he was already thinking beyond television fame. Leonardo often spoke later about wanting to challenge himself artistically, seeking roles that allowed him to explore complex characters rather than simply becoming another familiar face on the screen. The breakthrough that changed everything. In 1993, a turning point arrived with the film What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Acting alongside Johnny Depp, Leonardo portrayed a young man with developmental challenges with remarkable sensitivity and depth. Critics were struck by the authenticity of his performance, and audiences realized they were witnessing a young actor with extraordinary emotional range. At just 19 years old, he received his first nomination at the Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actor. Although he did not win, the recognition established him as more than a rising star. It marked him as a serious actor capable of powerful performances. For Leonardo, the moment was meaningful not because of the award itself, but because it validated years of effort and the sacrifices his family had made. The industry had finally begun to see what his mother had believed from the beginning. The global explosion of Titanic everything changed again in 1997 with the release of Titanic, directed by James Cameron. Playing Jack Dawson, Leonardo became the center of a global phenomenon that went far beyond cinema. The film shattered box office records and eventually won 11 Oscars at the Academy Awards. Suddenly, Leonardo's face appeared everywhere: magazines, television, billboards, and fan posters around the world. While the success opened enormous opportunities, it also came with overwhelming attention. Fame arrived quickly and intensely, changing how audiences and studios viewed him. For many viewers, he was no longer just an actor, but a cultural icon. Although the experience brought extraordinary success, Leonardo later reflected that sudden fame could feel isolating at times, as it altered the simple freedoms that most people take for granted. Searching for artistic respect, after Titanic, Leonardo faced an unexpected challenge, proving he was more than a heartthrob movie star. Determined to grow as an actor, he began choosing roles that pushed him creatively. Collaborating with legendary director Martin Scorsese became a defining part of this phase. Films such as Gangs of New York, The Aviator, and later The Departed showcased a more mature performer willing to explore complex characters and historical figures. Each role demanded emotional intensity and deep preparation. These collaborations also strengthened Leonardo's reputation among critics and filmmakers as a serious artist. Though awards recognition came and went, his commitment to challenging roles demonstrated something more important: a genuine desire to keep evolving rather than relying on the fame he had already achieved. Years of nominations and patience. Over the years, Leonardo received multiple nominations at the Academy Awards for performances in films such as The Aviator, Blood Diamond, and The Wolf of Wall Street. Each nomination sparked conversations among fans and critics about when he might finally win. While awards are only one measure of success, the discussion became part of the public narrative surrounding his career. Through it all, Leonardo continued focusing on the craft itself, working with respected directors and exploring diverse roles. Instead of slowing down, he remained committed to improving his performances and selecting ambitious projects. The attention surrounding the awards race highlighted how invested audiences had become in his journey, turning each nomination into a moment of collective anticipation. A defining performance in The Revenant. In 2015, Leonardo took on one of the most physically demanding roles of his career in The Revenant, directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu. Portraying frontiersman Hugh Glass, he endured extreme outdoor conditions and emotionally intense scenes to bring the character's survival story to life. The film's production required patience, resilience, and dedication from the entire cast and crew. When awards season arrived, his performance was widely praised for its commitment and realism. At the 2016 Academy Awards, Leonardo finally won Best Actor, marking a milestone in a career that had already spanned decades. The moment was celebrated across the film world, not simply because of the trophy, but because it recognized a body of work built through persistence, passion, and steady artistic growth. A voice for the environment. Beyond acting, Leonardo has spent decades advocating for environmental protection. In 1998, he created the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, which has supported conservation projects, wildlife protection, and climate research around the world. He has also helped produce documentaries such as Before the Flood and The 11th Hour to raise awareness about environmental challenges. Through speeches at international forums and collaborations with scientists and activists, he has encouraged global conversations about sustainability. Like many public figures involved in large-scale advocacy, his efforts have generated both support and debate, but his commitment to environmental issues has remained consistent for more than 2 decades. For Leonardo, these initiatives represent a way to use his visibility not just for entertainment, but also for causes he believes are critical for future generations. Life beyond the spotlight. Despite constant media attention, Leonardo has often kept his personal life relatively private. Interviews suggest that he values close friendships and prefers to focus on his work and philanthropic interests rather than discussing personal details publicly. Living in an industry built around visibility can make maintaining privacy difficult, yet he has consistently tried to separate his public career from his private world. Colleagues frequently describe him as thoughtful and dedicated, someone who prepares carefully for each role and supports creative collaboration on set. Over time, this balance between public recognition and personal boundaries has become an important part of how he navigates life as one of the world's most recognizable actors. A legacy still being written today, Leonardo DiCaprio's career continues to evolve. Recent projects such as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Quentin Tarantino and Killers of the Flower Moon with Martin Scorsese show that he remains committed to meaningful storytelling. His journey, from a child traveling across Los Angeles for auditions to an internationally respected actor and environmental advocate, reflects persistence, curiosity, and dedication to his craft. The story of Leonardo DiCaprio is not just about awards or fame. It is about growth, resilience, and the willingness to keep learning even after achieving global success. As audiences continue to watch his films and follow his advocacy work, one thing remains clear: his legacy is still unfolding, shaped not only by past achievements, but by the choices he continues to make in the years ahead.